Today, President Biden announced his nominee for ambassador to Ukraine, tapping veteran and U.S. diplomat Bridget Brink for the high-profile job. The move comes as Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. will start moving personnel back into Ukraine starting next week and then start the process of reopening the embassy in Kyiv. Well, let's bring in the deputy head of Ukraine's parliamentary majority, Halina Yanchenko, for more on this. Halina, thank you for being here. What do you think this nomination, this move to bring personnel back to Ukraine, and this visit from top U.S. officials all means for Ukraine right now?
Well, for Ukraine, it means that Western leaders and Western countries are in Ukraine. They are supporting Ukraine, and they are in this horrible, bloody war. They are on the side of Ukraine, on the side of good. On the good side, and they are fighting together with Ukraine with the evil, which is Russia. So this is a very important movement, both moving embassy back to Kyiv, but also nomination of the ambassador, because we didn't have an ambassador for almost a year. There were so-called acting ambassadors, so it's like very important to have a permanent person here. We are also very thankful here in Ukraine for the military assistance that U.S. have just sent to Ukraine. However, I should say that artillery is good and they're very helpful to Ukraine, but we need more military assistance. For example, we need tanks and jets, both that U.S. can send to Ukraine directly, and also the jets that Ukraine, together with other countries, can send to Ukraine. For instance, I should remind you that we are still talking about MiG-29, that Poland could actually pass to Ukraine. Together with United States of America, but for some reason, for over a month, this decision was not taken, and it is still not taken. So I really hope that the situation with another heavy weapon, not only artillery, but also tanks and jets, will also move in the United States of America, but also in the countries that need Americans' agreement to pass the weapon to Ukraine.
Well, I know in terms of the jets, the MiG-29s that you're talking about, the plan that came to be, which was, or the proposal at least, to send the jets through a U.S. NATO air base was rejected because that would have been seen, it was determined as too much of a provocation. It would, the U.S. officials and others involved thought that would bring a direct conflict and would be read as a direct conflict with Russia. So are there other alternatives being thrown out there, either for different kinds of weapons or a different way of getting those jets that you're aware of?
Well, these arguments seem to be really funny and even ridiculous, because NATO states, NATO countries already provided Ukraine with a number of heavy weapons. For instance, Eastern European countries, which are members of NATO, have provided Ukraine with their heavy weapon, with some tanks. Meaning like some old tanks of USSR kind of types of weapon. Also, America is sending Ukraine some ammunition and stuff. So we can't say that one kind of weapon, passing one kind of weapon to Ukraine will not be stimulus for Russia, or will not, have some reaction of Russia, and another type of weapon will be a stimulus for Russia to act somehow in another way. So in my opinion, this is just, these arguments are absolutely ridiculous, and they have nothing with the real situation.
Now, today marks the beginning of the Uniting for Ukraine program, opening the door for sponsored Ukrainian refugees to come to the U.S. What do you think of this program and similar moves from other countries?
Well, this help is very important and is very needed, given that almost 4.5 million people have left Ukraine since the large-scale invasion, which has started on February 24. But in my opinion, once again, the best assistance, the best aid that Western countries and Western leaders can provide to Ukraine is heavy weapon, because unless Ukraine receives enough of weapons, sufficient amount of weapon, and will kick out the Russian soldiers from our country, the humanitarian crisis, the crisis with refugee, will only continue and will grow bigger. So in terms of all these refugees, majority of them want to come back to their homes. And we see it on example of Kyiv region. After Ukrainian army kicked off Russian soldiers from Kyiv region, a big number of inhabitants of Kyiv and also the region came back to their homes. So people don't want to live somewhere else. They don't want to have a refugee status. They want to be back home, and they want to feel they are safe at home. And to fulfill this mission, it's actually a mission of Ukrainian army, but also a mission of all civilized world, of all Western leaders, to help Ukraine to defeat Russia and finally bring back the peace on the European continent.
All right, Deputy Head of Ukraine's Parliamentary Majority, Alina Yanchenko, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.